trying to hit this. I guess I could take one.
I believe that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win the World Championship.
They are advancing to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years.
Oh, it's on, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, baby.
Nobody will ever come catch me. I'm just trying to be myself.
Welcome everybody to Wolves After Dark. New intro, new music. Hopefully we don't get the stream taken down.
Sure, right there.
If you're new here or if you're not new here, like the stream. I know the Wolves lost tonight. And an announcement right off the top. We are live on Spotify and Apple Music if you don't like watching on YouTube, but I know most of you guys do. But if you're interested, I would love it if you went to Spotify or YouTube or to Apple Podcasts and gave us a rating. I guess that helps us or something. I don't know.
5 stars.
Anyways, 5 stars. Timberwolves lose 110-103 to the Lakers, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we're back and the season has started. We have meaningful basketball. Well, semi-meaningful basketball. Ashwin, how are you feeling? How'd you like Bronny's start?
Dude, all 3 minutes of it was just fantastic.
I wish there were more.
I wish there were many more. I actually think that maybe they paid off like Jaden McDaniels and Julius Randle to be very like ball hoggy and get into foul trouble, like $1 million each, just so then there's like a 17-point cushion, so then Bronny can get in.
Yeah,
yeah. It's almost like it was like scheduled.
I can't remember who said it in the Discord. It was so funny. It was like, wow, the Lakers are really just putting in Bronny for the memes, and it's like
I think they're putting him in for the memes.
Legit, what they're doing, like, which is also embarrassing that we lost to that, but it was only 3 minutes. So, yeah.
It was a pretty convincing loss, though. I will say that much.
It was a convincing loss. The thing that I'm going to say right off the bat is that, you know, we kind of talked about this in our season preview, which if you haven't watched, please watch our season preview. It's our last video. And I will say we're not going to be doing too much of like a season preview tonight. We're really going to be focusing more on the game. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about the future a little bit, but it's a little bit more so focused on the Lakers Timberwolves game tonight. But I will say that early, especially in the season here, I'm not going to get too upset about losses because really, I mean, these guys, the trade just happened like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I know that there's been preseason games that Randall didn't play in half of them. And Randall certainly looked rusty tonight. I'm not going to overreact. I am not going to allow anybody in the chat. If you've said it already, that's okay. But I'm not going to allow anybody in the chat to say, oh my gosh, the Cat trade was a mistake. Because we will not know that until a long time from now. So
give it 3 or 4 games.
I mean, honestly, give it like 3 or 4 weeks. We need to like actually have some time together. Like we have no cohesiveness. It was nice to see a little bit of the defense in the fourth quarter come back and kind of like tighten up the game a little bit. Which is what I was sort of curious about. Things that we talked about late last year was like how the team was tired or exhausted and late in the playoffs or whatever. And maybe that was defense that they were playing or whatever. And I was curious to see if they started slow, both to the season and to games. And then late in games really tried to clamp down and like just win it in the fourth quarter, you know, because that's what good teams can do. Good teams can kind of flub away the first 3 quarters as long as it's not like you're down by like 20 plus. And then, you know, third quarter, get it back to respectable. And then fourth quarter, it's boom, game time, winning time. We had like, and I know we lost, but we had like a tiny glimpse of maybe that could happen tonight. Obviously, so disjointed. I don't even know. I don't have the numbers in front of me. Turnover wise, tons and tons of turnovers. Like, and especially in the first half, like you just can't allow that many turnovers. We had 15 turnovers, and I think honestly, at least 10 of them were in the first half. So, really bad. 15 turnovers to 7 turnovers, and we only lost by 7. That's to me, I'm chalking this up as we have not had enough time together. We've run a couple plays together, and we've got a lot of rust.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting the rust from some of the vets and some of the people who've been here before. You know, maybe Julius could have given a pass. And boy, he was passing early too. But Mike Conley, that first half was quite a dud. And keeping things in check, holding serve, he was not. And Game one, we should stop caring about these little micro things, but some of the defensive assignments he had, he was letting people blow by him. He wasn't switching well, and 3 or 4 turnovers in that first half. That's very uncharacteristic. And then they made this adjustment to get him involved for like 3 minutes in that start of the second half, and that was like all we saw of Mike Conley. It looked better to have DiVincenzo out there because he's a sharpshooter. He works with Ant much better, I feel, and it was great to see him out there at least. But like, yeah, the Conley minutes were kind of the biggest outlier I saw, as well as Nas defensively needs time, and I think we knew that. It's game one, but we're gonna have to rely on him. And Lakers are a big boy team, and we are also kind of coveting the big boy mantra. And they outmuscled us. And you saw in the second half, AD took over, and usually we would kind of like tit for tat with Cat, and now we have to find new energy with new people, with new roles. And we scrambled to find offense in the second half, I thought.
We did. Yeah, and even at the end, I was a little disappointed in Ant. He was kind of chucking at the end where I felt like we still had some time to be patient. And he was just kind of trying to go hero mode, which I guess after a game of like having really nobody contribute on offense, that's kind of what he felt like he needed to do. But there's going to be a learning process. You lose somebody like Cat, who's like a primary scorer, one of your primary scorers, you're gonna have this happen. So, what did we have? So like, who was the next scorer after Ant? It was Julius Randle with 16, and he did not feel good.
I don't even feel like I saw the 16 points.
Exactly.
Yeah, just a couple and ones here, but that was it. Cameron, sorry to interrupt you. We're still getting back into our flow here. Ben Ryder asks, so should we be concerned at all? I mean, we're saying it's game one, but I thought I saw a new identity with Nas kind of bringing the ball up more, Julius Randle getting in action early, and kind of Ant mostly off ball, Conley in a corner. And is this going to be the system? Is this what we're seeing in MIM, or should we be concerned?
I think on like a macro level, I guess, like maybe not. I still think that like team wise, cohesiveness wise, we're gonna have some time. It's gonna take weeks, I think. I will not be surprised. When I was going through the individual choosing of the games, I had us losing the first 2 games, and then getting on a little bit of a run before kind of settling back into where I think we're gonna end up for the season. But yeah, also, I mean, I think it's a little bit of expectation setting too, because I do think that here's, I guess, to answer the question directly, I am a little concerned about Randall. Randall is way more rusty than I was expecting. I was expecting rust, but that was like
9 months no ball, right?
That was pretty bad. But I'm not gonna make any super harsh judgments just yet. But that was concerning. But I also think that, like we talked about in our season preview, like I personally expect the team to go down a little bit in the wins. And that means an adjustment for how often we can expect to win every night. Like we're not going to win every single night. And I know at the end of the last season in the playoffs, it was like a really good time. So we'll see. Long story short, a little worried about Randall. A little worried about McDaniels too. I know you're gonna hate this.
No,
okay.
These are like second year habits that are coming back to form. And like maybe it's just because we're facing game one in LA, all eyes on, Mama James and Bryce James, and just get everyone in foul trouble so they get to the line and they have this advantage. And I thought I saw a lot of ticky-tack fouls like we always see with Jaden, but
yeah. I am worried about him because the problem is with our starting lineup. That's why I was saying in the Discord, like it's almost like we need DiVincenzo out there in the beginning because we just need more scoring.
Dude,
and I know that Jaden has been. I've heard reports or whatever from camp that he's looking a lot better this season, and that like he's even been like working on his ball handling even a little bit, and like he's able to like drive a little bit better and finish a little bit better, but. I mean, tonight was like the typical. I mean, he only played 16 minutes. That seems crazy.
That's crazy.
But
I didn't even notice that until now.
But like we need him to be aggressive, but effective while aggressive. We can't just have aggressive. So,
Not effective.
yeah. So and like the 5 fouls, 6 points, like that's not good. So, yeah, we'll we'll have to see on him. Him and Randall, I worry about. Gobert, I mean, I guess I'm going into specific players. We can do that in the tier list. But yeah, I guess I will say Gobert looked really spry tonight. I know he got blocked by AD, but he looked okay to me. I mean, he looked really jumpy, so I was okay with that. But yeah,
The first like few minutes out of the jump, like maybe they were up, maybe the Lakers were up by a bit, but I felt like the offense was kind of flowing to a point, and like Ant wasn't really getting going early, and it was a lot of through Randall. I thought there was some fun passes that he had, and I think like Jaden got her going early. I think he had a three that he missed, but like it was cool offense. It was cool to see some of that flow. And then it kind of dragged to a halt. A lot of like ball watching, and like Ant kind of took over because he needed his and wasn't passing, reflective of the one assist in the total, in his box score, which is kind of, or I guess no, I guess he got three, but he got a couple late in the game. And it just kind of like was reflective of like what we saw on the court tonight, which was very dynamic offense from the Lakers in transition, as well as we are flubbing obvious offensive sets, and then they can transition into those layups and stuff. They're also great at in transition, and we're building back what we were bad at, or at least we're like the worst in the league at last year. We were like 29th in transition. So we were trying to play faster, trying to play more with more ball handlers on the court. So like the rebounder can just go. And I think we were just seeing some lack of rebounding, lack of boxing out, lack of kind of whose turn is it kind of identity issues. Game one, lots of film now to look at. So in the end game, the long game, I'm not worried one bit, but like the short first 4 or 5 games, do you remember when like we beat Boston last year?
Yeah,
we were like 7-1.
Yeah.
People were talking about us as the best team in the NBA, just taking down like the potential champs and the inevitable champs. That fueled us to have quite a huge like start to the season. And I remember the year prior, weren't we like 3-7 or something, or like something
we had
abysmal?
There was something. Yeah, we had a really rough. I can't remember what it was. I think we were even like 4-13 or something.
I just remember losing to San Antonio and Atlanta and like bad, bad vibes. So like losing will start to like, we hope that losing doesn't like infiltrate like the mindsets, because now we have a new kind of like full stop leader in Ant, and it's great to see him kind of start to lead in that regard. But long story short, it's just going to be we have to build from what we did last year, which was insanely positive, with new pieces, a lot of new pieces, and we're shifting identities. And early returns, we lost. We'll see how it goes and see how it transpires over the next few games. I'm going to start pointing fingers after 4 or 5 games here if we are like looking in the part that we're not.
I mean, there's certain things where I will start getting worried early. I in the beginning here, I've been preaching like patience and waiting like 4 weeks or whatever. But if we see Randall play like this, and I just highlighted a comment a little while ago that was like Randall no hustle, and it's like, if that kind of stuff keeps happening, then that is going to be a concern. But some of that I think will come with time, because like we've had a bunch of players that have come to our team, and we've been a defensive team. And I think since most of the team is bought into the defensive side, I think it will over time put pressure on the other players that are not as good defensively to at least be serviceable defensively, and maybe put some pressure on Randall, or put some pressure on whoever, maybe Dillingham at some point, who did not play, neither did Terrence Shannon. But there's certain things that I will be a little concerned with, but I think it's all about expectations coming in the season. If you expected this team to be a number 1 seed, I don't know that that's realistic. It may be possible. I mean, of course, this is just one game, and I'm not trying to overreact. I'm not really overreacting though, because I kind of already thought that we were going to be a little lower than our projected totals. But yeah, T. Kubler, welcome back. Lakers should start strong. They brought back 90%. Exactly. See, that's the other part here, is that they brought back almost everyone besides their rookies. So they just had to integrate their rookies, and one of them is a 3-point shooter and connect. So it's just like he's able to that kind of a player, as long as he can shoot well, can kind of fit into anything. and he played really well in the preseason. So, and he had a full summer with them as well. So they have all the advantages, and they're at home, and this is his first Brownies game. Like, people are hyped and people going crazy. So this was like a must-win game for them in some ways. And I'm not trying to excuse the loss, because no loss is okay. Especially the first game. I feel like you need to perform well for the first game. But hey, at least we're not the Knicks. The Knicks got embarrassed. That was crazy. But yeah. Is it normal for a team that made the conference finals to start the next season on the road? Interesting. I didn't think about that. I thought you were going to say something different. Welcome back, by the way, Manimal. I don't know. Do you have thoughts on that, Ashwin? I don't know.
I don't know. Ultimately, the stats or whatever on that, but
also the Lakers shouldn't be the first. I get that it's the Lakers, but like,
they should be the first team. But it's LA and big market, and we're gonna be in these weird situations. We're gonna be on like 9:30 start times on TNT a lot, because we have like maybe 19 or 20 like national televised games. You know what I mean? So it's a big step up from last year or whatever, and more of these types of situations to come. So sorry, that's not an answer for you, but we're gonna have stupid games like this on.
It's weird. Yeah, I feel like it should have been. Yeah, you're right. It should have been something like, I don't know. It should have been like the conference final rematches of last year or something like that. But or we get home tonight, because why are the Lakers? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But
hey, yeah, this is a great point, Conrad. Playing the Lakers early in the season sucks. Like, so they brought back everyone. They brought in Dalton Connect in a JJ offense, and I guess it had heavy or solid returns. I feel like Anthony Davis kind of went Super Saiyan in the second half, felt like he was in his bag or whatever they say, and really took over. I think without that healthy dose of AD, we would have been in this game. We were, I guess, missing shots or missing wide open opportunities, and they were just capitalizing on AD with smaller matchups. And Julius Randle couldn't defend AD either, nor could Gobert in the second half. And it sucks, because like, we need time to kind of find more of our identity in our go to flow offense. There was a couple sick plays where we had like Conley oop it to Gobert for a nice dunk, and like that would only happen with like a dynamism of us like growing into that identity. It only happened once because we were like fractured and we were trying to find offense, right? So with Randall and Nas at the helm, sometimes it's like not that those types of plays don't happen. So we need time to find those plays. Like the preseason was sick. The Ant and DiVincenzo relationship was sick in the preseason, but we didn't see much of that in this game. Meanwhile, to your point, like the Lakers already have everyone back, and if they don't have like maybe they don't have a couple people, but like Austin Reeves was solid, Hachimura was solid, and they're going to be a solid team this year. I don't like talking positive about the Lakers, but they're going to be in the mix until they're not. And like
if they
they're
stay
always
healthy.
going to be an injury concern, but. Yeah. Long story short, like, I appreciate this comment, because it's like if we face them a month from now, we're going to be a much different team. I mean, we probably would lose to them in the in-season tournament finals, but
Yeah, that's true. Renzi, welcome back, guys. I appreciate it, Renzi. Welcome back to you as well. For those of you just joining, make sure you like the stream if you haven't already. We're already up to like 25 likes or something. That's awesome. Get TJ in the game. That's our sleeper. We like him. I do like that idea a lot. Do we want to jump to the tier list?
Let's hop into it. You have it ready, or you don't?
I have it ready.
Okay. You
let me share this. Let me learn how to do things again. Boom. Oh, it's kind of tiny.
It's kind of big.
Well, yeah, I guess one of the two things.
You can pin the players.
I guess. I don't know.
You can, and then you can scroll up, and then it'll kind of stay in there.
Okay. Oh, I see. Interesting. Well, I'll learn that at another time. So we're here at the tier list. For those of you that are new here, I don't think any of you are, but if you are, tier list. Obviously, the top is the best, the bottom is the worst. We have a couple different ones like A1 and Cash and Bottoms and Shake Milton. We might have to rename some of these as the season goes on. But we also have Meh, which is in the middle, which is kind of meh. Like, kind of was expectations or just kind of boring. And A1, the main thing to remember here is that A1 is unforgettably good game. Like you will never forget this game. You will tell your unborn children or born children about this game. So, anyways, stats.
Do
Do
we
you
need an
have
Ingles?
stats?
Do we need an Ingles tier?
Ingles is a very high candidate to replace Wancho, I think, um, or Shake. We'll see. I'm not super low on Ingles. I will say tonight was not good, but I think that there will be usable moments of Ingles, and I think we'll like him. But I know people aren't enthused by him yet. So anyways, we don't have a ton of players to go through tonight. For those of you that are used to it, we're probably going to go a little bit quicker through the tier list than we normally do. We're going to try to make the tier list a little bit more expedited this year. Maybe not rapid fire, but we certainly don't want to have this go on for an hour, especially on a night where we lost.
I feel like you're talking right at me.
Oh, this is about both of us. You and I are both very guilty of talking about nobodies on the bench forever. So, and feel free to go along and chat. I would love to hear everybody's grades. Jake Erickson says Wancho tier should be lower than Shake. That's recency bias. Yeah, we have some. We'll take all suggestions here. Feel free to put them in the comments. But speaking of jingles, let's start with them. Joe Ingles, 6 minutes. He had 0 points and a foul.
That's what we love to see from our Kyle Anderson replacement. You know?
Unreal.
Who needs him?
He was a plus player tonight.
Well, I would definitely give him an Ingles tier. I'll tell you that much. If we had one, Cameron.
I think this is pretty bad. I mean, it was only 6 minutes, but it was not good. I kind of, I don't know. It was an air ball too.
Yeah. Put him in Matt. Let's move on.
Anthony Hollis, hate the timer. Yeah. We nuding the timer for real. What'd you say?
Moving on. Or Wancho,
okay.
that's fine. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Who's up next?
Nas Reed, 6 Man of the Year candidate already. But I don't know about tonight after tonight's episode. 26 minutes, 3 for 8 from the floor, 12 points. Went to the line a couple times, but most importantly, hit a couple threes. But -6 out there, and I felt like it. I think that his defense was really suspect at times. I think he's going to get a bad whistle when he's playing against like a star or a superstar, and he had clear defensive prowess and was getting calls for fouls. So then he like got into the whiny habits that sometimes happens. And,
yeah.
I want to give him a pass. I want to give him a meh, but it could also be like, hey, we rely on you and we need more from you, and didn't get there. So
I think it's a little lower because I do think that we expect more out of Nas now. I mean, I know that this is partially because we traded Cat, but he needs to. I mean, he was 6 Man of the Year last year, but he needs to step up to be borderline. I mean, he was like a borderline starter last year. I feel like he needs to be. He needs to be good. And we can't have nights like this. This has to be an off night, which is why it's concerning to happen on the first night of the season. But you really do need a better night from him. I'm kind of thinking D'Lo. I mean, D'Lo is we really do need to update so many of these things. But I do think, yeah, D'Lo. Okay, everybody's saying D'Lo good. I'm not crazy. I think it's D'Lo because we need more from him. And as we say, these tiers are based off of what we expect out of the players. So, anyways, next up.
Actually, I love this comment real quick from Anthony Hollis. Like, just to get the season kind of ignited with like who we had and the identity that we formed. Noted, and someone else mentioned, I think TC mentioned in the chat, like we didn't play our rookies. We made these moves to get some rookies, some capital in that regard, and we didn't play them. Of course, like maybe if we were up 17, we can play a Bronny, but we didn't have that cushion. And I think there's gonna be some growing pains in that regard too. Like, will Dilly? I call him Dilly. Yes. Will Rob Dillingham get time early in the season? Like we promised to play. We even had like a press conference for Keita Bates Diop, and then we let him go.
Gone.
That was sad and a little embarrassing, but yeah, we're not playing the young guys yet, and maybe that's even more so a case to play the people who were here before, just a little bit more involved. I did like the Nas Reed, Julius Randle moments, but like they weren't like denting the lead, so
No, yeah, exactly. It was just kind of staying afloat, if that at times. So,
Nikhil
um,
Alexander-Walker, 28
yes,
minutes, 14 points, 3 for 4 from 3, 5 rebounds. The only knock to his game was he had a couple silly turnovers, but that's
yeah,
just early season woes. I
yep,
thought he was fantastic. I kind of want to give him like, especially after preseason where we were like, we
yeah,
don't need him.
yeah,
I was like, hold on, press the brakes. We might need him. He was awesome in the postseason. So,
yeah.
welcome back from the preseason stuff, and I would give him like a B or an A. So
Yeah, I'm like I don't want to have tearflation, so I think I'm gonna go with a B because I in my brain I'm like, oh,
yeah, we lost.
I want to go A, but it's like, yeah, we lost. So, yeah, I think this was a solid game. I want if we can have this amount of production, which is, I mean, maybe not on this efficiency. This was really efficient night for him, but if we could have this amount of production from him or close to this every night, I feel very good. So, and I love Na. I want Na to be a part
Yeah,
of this team. I hate
yeah.
that it's like he's been talked about as like possible trade or like possible just like letting him go after the season because this is his contract year. So it's like I hate that. But yeah. So next up, I
Dude,
guess we go
Dante.
Dante. Yeah,
Yeah,
Dante DiVincenzo, 31 minutes. He was 3 of 11, 2 of 8 from 3. He had 10 points. He screwed up my parlay. I had him over 11 points. Um, two personal fouls, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. But overall, and a -5, he or a -5, he was he was just not good. I think this is again, this is an off game. This is a first game. I'm not going to take too much stock in this game because I do think that he is. I don't know. I think this was just an off game, and maybe I'm giving him too much credit or something. But this was we're going to have better shooting nights, and again, I know that the end was like a weird. The end of the game was weird, and we only lost by 7. But like he shot 2 of 8. If he shoots 4 of 8, it's a 1 point game, and it's a totally different situation. Um, so if we can
yeah.
find him in the right spots, if we can get him going a little bit, I think it's going to be good. Honestly, besides his actual production, like stats wise, I didn't hate him out there. There were some drives to the basket that I kind of liked, and just some movement that he's doing that I'm like, okay, this is awesome. We haven't had this kind of a player on our team where he's like finding the open space in 3, and I like that. But I don't know. It's probably a meh, maybe a D'Lo. I don't even know.
Yeah, that one possession where he got blocked by AD, that sucked because also that was just a very like that was kind of like a microcosm of the game in a nutshell. Like we're chucking, we're trying to get these open looks, and we're not very open, but we're doing it anyways. We're forcing the people to shoot, and Dante had moments where I thought he was great. I actually really like when he's like getting the ball downhill and he's moving a little bit
Yeah.
towards the rim. I think
Yep.
he's a willing passer, and I think he's a better playmaker than his like what people talk about him when you talk about
Yeah.
DiVincenzo. Yeah, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Like a new team, new identity. He's doing a lot, and um, I think our identity is going to be a lot about Nas Reed and Dante DiVincenzo. Like as the season procures, like what these guys add to the team versus like take away from the starters, right? So
Yeah.
I'm giving him a meh, but you can bring him down because of tearflation and game one we lost and all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I do feel like I need to be a little not super harsh on it because I don't feel like it was like super impactful. We do need more threes. But this was just it's his first game. I will say, I mean, obviously going forward, we can't have 2 of 8 games. Like that can't be his
Yeah, that's what
shot.
we brought him for.
Yeah. So like we need like we need I mean, even though Cat only took 3 threes a game, we need some threes made up for that. And we just our offense needs threes. We have a lot of drive and kick now. And he can both drive and be the one that gets kicked out too. So like we need him doing both. We'll give him a meh.
Last last year we
But
finished third, right? And it was all like we were all within half a game of each other. If not, it was because of tiebreakers. And it's just kind of goes to show how it's an 82 game season. It's a long game season, long season.
yeah,
Injuries happen, ups and down, flows happen. we peak early, then we'll have like a soft cap and we won't like find our rhythm in the playoffs. So if we peak late, maybe we can ride that momentum. Right now, every game does actually matter, despite having this like new construction of a team. So like we can't wait for DiVincenzo. We brought him here. I think this was the reason why we made the trade, because he's going to be a sniper and it's going to help Ant quite a bit off ball, because he's another shot creator and playmaker for our team. I think it's going to be great. But we did see Lakers kind of double up Ant anyways, and we were like flustered and couldn't get DiVincenzo even though he was open. So like he needs to find his spots and find ways to get open and stuff like that.
You need others to be hot.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you need others to be hot and be on their shot, because Ant can't be the. I mean, Ant. I know he wasn't super efficient tonight, but like he was somehow able to still score 27 points when really nobody else was helping. So like you need, and that's the thing that was nice with Cat at times, was like Cat had the ability to really create some offense and make some shots. So yeah, it's important. But I see Anthony Hollis is putting
he's
timer.
let's move on. KGTD 21. I feel like KGTD 21. Are you on Real GM or something? I feel like I've seen your username on forums before. Anyways, great to see you here. And I think this is an awesome comment too. Like Ant was kind of a black hole, and he was very aggressive in his shot, but like he picked his spots in moments where he could have passed and been more of a willing passer. This is gonna be a development issue for Ant, and we're gonna need to see it happen this year. DiVincenzo was probably open. Probably there was moments where he could have passed to DiVincenzo, and it's just like he doesn't see it, we don't see it, and like it doesn't happen. So to a point where this will improve over the course of the season. It has to, and I love that this game is the first game we get to fucking study film for to improve all aspects of everyone's game. So cool. Mike Conley, I'll give it to you here. 20 minutes, 1 for 7 from the floor. All of those 7 shots were like in 3 minutes in the third quarter. 5 points, 2 assists, 3 turnovers. That's not a Tyus Jones stat line. 4 rebounds, but like 0 for 5 from 3. Cameron.
I mean, this was also, I didn't mention this at the top, but this was also very concerning. Mason. Oops, I highlighted.
I'm sorry. Old tier. We need an old tier.
We do. Honestly, okay, what's old tier? Is that going to be, maybe that's
Shake?
the new Wancho?
Wancho is forever just like.
I mean, Wancho is pretty good.
Maybe Shake. Shake didn't have much of a.
Yeah, no, Shake is done. Sorry, Shake.
It was just bad.
You guys were here. Shake was retired. Yeah. Old tier, and I think that's what he was. This was really concerning. In my head, I'm like, maybe it's just the matchup. Maybe it's just he's getting a little older as the beginning of the season. I think it's just that he's getting old. So we need Dilly to dilly his way up to to playing minutes. Or have Jingles do something, which
Jingles and Dilly. We got
Jingle Dilly. So yeah, not good. Very concerning, negative, or I keep saying negative. I'm like, do I know basketball? Minus 22 tonight. Very sad. So do Conley and Ingles default to old tier? They might, honestly.
Maybe that's their floor.
You know what?
Are they better than old?
Should we give maybe we'll give him the benefit of the doubt? Or okay. We'll put him down. We'll put him in old tier. I feel like
you can edit live. You can make it old. You did already. I'm already at time old.
Yeah, sorry, it's super small. I gotta fix this for next time. I'm unprepared. But okay. We've got Jingles and Bite in old tier.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a new nickname from Ant. Ant's gonna have to come up with something about him being old. But who's up next? I don't really. I guess unless you have anything else to say about Mike, it was just a bad night, bad shooting, did not look good really at any point.
I got nothing. Really, I do. Jaden McDaniels, 16 minutes, 3 for 8 from the floor. If those numbers don't stick out to you, 5 fouls, 6 points, -8 plus or minus. He didn't necessarily have a bad game. He was in the right spots, but I also don't think that like we took advantage of the fact that he's out there, be more of a playmaker. Finch was like kind of praising Jaden in the offseason and kind of wanting to put him more role, put him in more of a spots. Oh, it might take time. We might need like a 20-game win cushion for us to like explore and experiment, right? Because right now we need all these wins. And if we're gonna like flop around for the first week or two, and that includes experimenting with Jaden, you know, like that's like a negative on the coaching staff. That's a negative on the development staff. That should have happened in the offseason so that when he's ready, he didn't look the part whatsoever tonight.
Yeah, was not good. I don't know really where to put him tonight, honestly. It wasn't great. I mean, he had some flashes of like, okay, I like that, but I mean, when 6 point, he almost had more fouls than points. So that's a problem. But whoa, Ryan Poles, isn't that the GM of the the Chicago Bears? Bronny went off tonight. Did you see him getting off the bench and checking in? We did. I wish we could have seen more of him. He looked really, really good. I wanted to see 20 plus minutes of Bronny tonight. You see, he almost got that putback. To be honest, though, for a second, that 3 that he shot, I thought that was going in, and I was about to. I was going to crash out. Like it was not going to be okay.
There would be no stream if he scored.
There would be no stream if Bronny had an acceptable night. But yeah, Jaden. I don't know. I'm disappointed. It wasn't. Again, it's just kind of weird. It's not like they had super bad things. I mean, the fouling is a problem. So it kind of makes me want to go Wancho, but I'm kind of harsh on him. So I'll let you decide.
I think we can let Mason's decide. We're going bottoms with him.
Bottoms.
Capital letters. No cap.
All cap.
Or full cap. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's weird. Orange Julius Randle merged with DQ tonight. 34 minutes, 16 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers. Went to the line 7 times. He hit a 3. Boy, was he reluctant to shoot all night.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like there was any confidence. It took like maybe 4 or 5 minutes for him to like try to shoot, and I didn't like that. There's moments where I remember Julius Randle, rookie Julius Randle, to now he still has that same move where he gets to like 6 feet, 8 feet from the rim, and he like tries to heave it rainbow it over the defender and also flail a little bit. And maybe against like a Julian Hayes, or Jackson Hayes, he gets the contact or he gets the foul call. But like he's up against AD, he's up against LeBron, and I guess even Rui at times. And nothing was happening for him. And when the ball stopped moving, and he was having the ball in his hands, and we were kind of looking clunky, disjointed, fractured. And it also was just a byproduct of just having someone brand new run our offense. I don't really fault him. These are just his characteristics. I'm not meh on him. I'm not Wancho on him either. I think this might have been like D'Lo, D'Lo plus. But I might be wrong.
I think I'm with you. I mean, it's I am concerned, as I mentioned off the top. I am concerned about this game. I mean, some positives. He is a little bit more capable than most people on our team at driving and getting some fouls called for him and getting to the line. That is a positive. He shot 7 free throws tonight. That's great. You know, we need him. There was some moments where he shot confidently and it looked okay, and I was kind of liking that. But similar to DiVincenzo and maybe even Joe Ingles, we really just have to work these guys in the offense and have the players that were here before be able to find them in their spots, because I think that everybody who was here before knows each other's spots. But we need to be able to find Julius in the corner for threes. That's where he shoots best. We need to be able to kick out back to DiVincenzo. And Joe Ingles to the extent too. I know he airballed the only 3 he took, but he can shoot. I mean, he shot 42% last year.
That was a bad 3.
So like it's all 3 of them are capable of hitting threes. And then we just have to learn Julius, because Julius is a little bit different. He's Cat-like. I'm not saying like he's the same skill as Cat, obviously not, but like he has that ability to drive, to shoot threes. He can create a little bit of offense, but tonight was not good. I think my benefit of the doubt will be a D'Lo tonight. But again, going forward, I don't know that I will be as kind because, as we get into, especially 2 weeks from now, it cannot be like this. uh,
TC brought up a point.
he
Maybe
only
I
goes left.
just didn't recognize this. Is he that kind of player? Like
I
if
think
Jalen
so.
Brown only goes left,
It's
does
like
Julius Randle only go left?
it's like a Levine, how he couldn't use his left hand or
Oh,
whatever.
wow.
I think it's kind of like that, unfortunately. But he's been able to. I mean, he did it with the Knicks last year, and he was great in the first half of the season and previous seasons. He's been good. So I don't know, but it's something that we're gonna have to learn, something we're gonna have to figure out. And also, the other thing that I guess I'm trying to be as nice as I possibly can on the first game of the year. But like he is coming off an injury too. So this isn't just him reacquainting to a team. He had a shoulder injury that he
Yeah,
had to take even longer than originally planned because
sure.
there was setbacks. So
Yeah.
which whoever hears setbacks on injuries anymore, it's always like, oh no, it's okay. Well, I guess Towns kind of had that, even though nobody said it was a setback. But yeah, that's my benefit of the doubt for tonight. I'm not going to go too crazy on him tonight. I know that everybody on Twitter and everybody else is going to be like, "Oh my gosh, like Cat is so much better. Why don't we have Cat?" Yada yada yada. But
Why did that sound like Kyle Tiggy?
but um, but yeah. So we'll see. D'Lo for tonight, but a little concern going forward.
I was just kidding about that part. Shout out to Kyle. We love him. We love everyone who does Timberwolves stuff. It's awesome the community that we have, the outpour of shows and podcasts to like dissect and also just like build communities. Sick to have the Falling Knife crew or whatever they have out there too. Their pods are probably some of the best. And then also we exist too. I agree with some of the sentiment here in chat. Like growing pains, and he's like relearning like his own skill set, and he's like he can say all the right words in interviews and stuff, and he's ready, and he wants to be wanted and all that other stuff, but like we can't wait, we can't like
Yeah, yeah,
stay idle and watch you figure things out. That has to be in the practice room and after hours, and on the court we have to look like or even pretend like we're a well-oiled machine. That might take 20 games, and like we said early in the broadcast, 20 games might be a 7th seed, a play-in kind of seed, and that would really dampen the kind of high that we all felt after that Denver series, after a couple of games in the Dallas series, if it weren't for Luka popping off and shit like that. So anyways, more to come from Julius. This might be a little bit too much. It's just we're skirting around the subject of like Cat or Julius right now, right?
yeah.
Like, do we miss Cat after one game? Probably. Will we have one with Cat? Probably, right? But like we have like a longer play, longer vision here, so
Yeah.
and Cat looked pretty good out there. He was kind of exposed defensively at times, but he looked pretty good despite losing by 30 or whatever it was. And so while we're rooting for him, yeah, we have Julius now, and so we'll see what happens. Rudy Gobert, 35 minutes, 5 for 8 from the floor, 14 rebounds, 13 points, and a block shot. That was cool. He made most of his free throws. That's cool. I don't really have a problem with what Rudy did tonight. I just think AD kind of has his number at times.
Oh yeah.
And AD kind of does the fadeaway middies, and we're allowing that to a lot of an extent. Like that's kind of what we are okay with.
Yeah, we've allowed that for so many years now. It's mind-boggling to me. But I guess the thought process is probably, well, we would rather have AD just go crazy and try to contain everybody else. Because if he's just taking long twos, then sure. But we weren't stopping everybody else. And he's just unstoppable every single time against us. So
Yeah.
I even told some friends in my fantasy football group chat, I was like, AD is going to go crazy tonight and the Timberwolves are going to lose. Like I was like, that's what's going to happen because we're going to be rusty and AD always has our number, and both of those things happen. I also said that Bronny would have more than 1.5 points, which was wrong. Yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. I don't really feel super strongly about Rudy tonight. I do think that he looks really I kept saying spry. I mean, he just looks like fast. He's bouncy. He had that one like some of his alley-oops weren't just like boring. There was a little bit of spice on him or something. Yeah, no, I thought it was just a fine night. I don't think it was anything crazy. And like you said, AD just always has his number. It's just not the right matchup. I understand that AD is trying to make this like a defensive player of the year kind of like matchup, and he's like, look at me, I can score more and I'm blocking your shot. Well, it's like, yeah, but Gobert is not an offensive player, so you blocking him is not the same. Like,
Yeah.
it's different. Like, there's levels to whose shot you're blocking and whatever. And this isn't me trying to hate on AD. Like, AD is a deserving player for a lot of things. I mean, he's a great player. But and maybe he should be more in the conversation for defensive player of the year. However, he just, I don't know. He loves to take this matchup personally. Good for him. Yeah, I guess honestly, I'm somewhere between meh and B, just because he was okay. But I don't think he's in the same tier as Nah tonight. So I
Ooh,
kind of think meh.
I might disagree with you slightly, and it's not like a big deal here, but like I'm thinking more of an A or maybe a B. I could be convinced to B. I think he was one of the better players tonight. He looked quicker than I was expecting because in the preseason it looked like he didn't care and or old and and also in like the Olympics like showing it wasn't like exciting and whatsoever for
Yeah.
him. He was like benched, like that's embarrassing as hell. And I thought he was running transition pretty well too. A couple plays, a couple layups that regard, and then like that oop from Conley. These are like little plays that really kind of excite me because Gobert could easily like not phone it in, but like not have the agility and ability to like grab the ball and don't get like you saw a couple plays from I think someone else passed him the ball and it was kind of a high lob and he like tried to go for it and then he's just not he doesn't have the the ability to jump like our traditional bigs, right? So he like mishandled that, and he will mishandle these types of plays. We didn't see too much of that from him, and I just think he was one of the reasons why we didn't. I think someone said this in the chat, like one of the reasons why we didn't lose this game by like 40.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and that was another part of it was like when we had a moment in the was it the second quarter? Maybe it was even the first where we had Rudy and Ant out at the same time, and we
Oh
had
my
some
God.
lineup out there, and that was like, oh my gosh, please
The
make it
second
stop.
quarter, right?
Yeah. I was like, this can't. I understand we're trying lineups right now, but Rudy and or Ant have to be on the floor at least 44 minutes of the game, maybe more. Like they need to be out there. One of them needs to be out there at all times. Maybe Ant has to go out early so that he can come back in to replace Rudy. I don't know, but you need somebody else out there. And that's what you're going to have to learn. Or Randall or DiVincenzo or somebody else is going to have to step up majorly or Jaden. So we'll see. But
yeah.
anyways.
Manimal, that's so true. What was that lineup? And then probably also
terrible.
include Joe Ingles, I think, at one point. That lineup in the second quarter, we just couldn't score. Ant wasn't out there. No one was really aggressive at all. I could probably even like walk through the play-by-play, but it's just like I feel like early season or early coaching woes too. Like we want to experiment a little bit. We had a small like 1 point lead, 4 point lead at one point, and we were like, let's try now. Like that didn't work out. Hey, finally, Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
That commercial was pretty dope. I don't know if you saw that commercial that lead up into the season starter where he had a lie detector test.
Oh, I did his Adidas one. Yes.
Pretty sick.
That's amazing.
Maybe one of the better ones. Anyways.
He's talking a lot of talk, though. That's the thing I will say. He's talking a lot. Yeah. And, the Minnesota fan in me is very nervous about that because I don't really want to be talking too loudly. I kind of want to be bringing the nice, as they say on Twitter now. But I don't. I mean, unless he can back it up. If he can back it up this season, then that's awesome. But I feel like last season was the time to do that, and this season I'm a little leery about how this season's going to go for us. I don't think we're going to miss the playoffs or anything crazy, but like I don't think we're going to be the same team. So I don't love all the talking now, but if he can produce and get his almost 30 a game or something like that and be an actual superstar, then I'm okay with it. Anyways, continue.
41 minutes. It didn't feel like he played that whole game, but apparently he played most of that second half.
I feel like we missed him a lot. Maybe those 8 minutes or 7 minutes that he was out were really bad.
Yeah. 41 minutes, 10 for 25 from the floor, 27 points, 5 for 13 from 3. Whoa. Here's an outlying stat. Only 3 free throw attempts. 6 rebounds, which is cool and all. No offensive rebounds, but 4 turnovers and only 3 assists for the person who has the ball in his hands the most. I think the 3 assists are quite an outlier to me. And while it's cool to have that pecking order of shot attempts, I do miss someone being like the Robin to Batman
Yeah,
and having
yeah.
like the green light, and hopefully it becomes of DiVincenzo. You know what I mean? I actually kind of out of everyone, I really want it to be DiVincenzo, but like it might be Randall, and I just hope that we have some person who just takes over when Ant isn't, or Ant is taking a breather, or Ant is cold for a couple plays. Ant needs help right now. Shooting 25 times is fine on all 13 threes attempts is great and all, but like he needs help. This is 27 points and 6. That's awesome stats on 25 points. That's almost on 25 shot attempts, almost like
Yeah.
Wiggins numbers. And so I don't want to talk about that, but it's like we can expect more from Ant, but also like he was trying to desperately get the team back in. So he was being aggressive and shooting and chucking. And so this is probably at best to be probably more like a meh coming from the highs of the offseason and everything.
Probably, honestly. I mean, this was probably a meh. We now the expectations for him coming in, if he's gonna talk that talk, this is like this has to be a meh game. This cannot be and I think, long term tonight it's not looking good. But long term, I do think this is something that me and Gerald have kind of talked about in the Discord a lot over the years, honestly. Shout out to the Discord. Is Ant really needs the full reins to the franchise so that he can blossom as like the main guy. He needs that because he's always had, like you said, he's always had the Batman Robin kind of a situation. He's always had Cat there with him to balance out the scoring, balance out the playmaking, balance out, like if he's just having an off night, like he doesn't even have to think about it. Like we had multiple games last season where Ant's like, oh, he has single digits, or like he has those
Yeah.
games. Whereas no other, like no KDs, LeBrons. I mean, what's the stupid stat with LeBron where it's like he hasn't scored under 10 points in like ever or something? I don't even know. But like that's an example of like, well, Ant does that. Ant has stinkers of games. So like we need him to learn how to. Maybe this is that. Maybe tonight is him figuring out how to score 27 points out of a stinker game. And although we still lost, he needs to learn that. And of course, we got new pieces around him. So there's a little bit of leniency here. I'm not going to be crazy harsh on him. Like if this is mid-season or late season and he shoots like this and plays like this, I think we're probably talking like Wancho or something, maybe D'Lo or something. I don't know. But for tonight, with the figuring it out, first time of him being like on his own, getting doubled all night and really not having anyone else to alleviate that. This was meh. This was okay. So I think I'll go with a meh tonight, just based off of my expectations.
So for you listeners, audio listeners only at home or after the fact, we have Na and Rudy at the top in B tier. Is that it's a DiVincenzo? I need to zoom in a bit because DiVincenzo and Ingles look a little the same. I'm not trying to profile here, sorry. Ant and DiVincenzo and Met here, and then like kind of a big fall off for Nas, Julius Randle, and then at the bottom we got Jaden, Joe Ingles, and Conley, but they were just both old. So need more from everyone. We probably need to see a stint from the youth at some point here. Luckily, we are facing different teams. We're not facing the Lakers for a while now.
Yes.
So
yeah, we don't play the Lakers for
I'm not worried.
2 months. 2 months from now. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, coming up next, we play on Thursday. We play again in California. We play the Kings, and we go home to play the Raptors at home on Saturday, and then we play the Mavs at home on Tuesday.
Wait,
that's our next 4 games.
That's a pretty tough season start to season. Like Sacramento's gonna be hungry as F. Are they gonna be on the back of the end of a back-to-back though?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't have their schedule up. I only have the Timberwolves. But we do have it is a tough beginning, and that's kind of what I was saying in our season preview, is that like the very beginning of the season isn't gonna be super kind to us. And I think 1, we're gonna be rusty. 2, we're gonna be figuring things out with everybody. And 3, we're playing some good teams. I mean, like all 4 of these games could be losses realistically. Like the Kings are going to be hungry, like you said. We lost to the Raptors in the first game of last season. The Mavs, although I mean Klay Thompson does not look great. I think he missed every shot he took in his first preseason game or something.
I mean, whatever.
That could be a good
They
thing.
have time. They have time to wait it out. Honestly, with him,
They do,
I think
yeah.
they're going to win games without him.
And Luka's going to pretend to be hurt half the season, so whatever. But Anthony Edwards after the game, we weren't ready to play, so I agree with Finchy on that part. We came out too relaxed, like people respect us. We got to bring more. Sacramento will be better. He does love playing in Sacramento. That is true. I forgot about that. But yeah, I mean, we've got some good teams, and then we play Denver also the next Friday. So like we've got good teams to start. But then the middle of November gets a little easier. We play the Spurs, which I don't know what to think about the Spurs right now, honestly. So I'm not going to count them out as like an easy win. The Hornets, which also, I mean, they're a bad team, but they're kind of a good bad team. The Bulls, who beat us every time. I mean, we could go 0-8, it sounds like. But we do have 3 games against Portland, and those should be guaranteed wins. Regardless of back-to-backs, regardless of anything, that has to be 3 wins. So we'll see. We do have a lot of back-to-backs, though. The first 4 games, no, but then we have 3 back-to-backs in the first 2 weeks of November. So not fantastic, but yeah. So how's everybody in chat feeling? Gauge this right now. I want everybody to post what they think, what seed we're going to finish at the end of the season. I'm curious to know what everybody's saying.
7th seed, he says. John Mayer, while we're getting some data from our chat, Julius Randle, John Mayer on X or on Twitter, says Julius Randle not boxing out and lightly jogging in transition isn't the greatest first look as far as first looks go.
Correct. That's like one of the main things that's like, okay, yeah, you can't be doing this. So Gobert, we got live quotes coming in left and right. One of the reasons, I mean, I don't know if this is good. One of the reasons we were so good last year, we were the most hungry team almost every night. We got to find that. I like that. We do. Okay. Where we got for chat? Chat is saying 7th seed, 4 seed, 3 seed, 3 seed, 6 seed, 4 to 6, somewhere in that range. So, yeah, it's a little concerning. Yeah, I'm reading. So Dom on Twitter, Conley concerns ? Yeah, we just got done with the tier list, but we are concerned. We put him in old tier. Spoiler. So, which is a new tier, by the way. So, you were here. Hashtag you were here. One thing we didn't touch on, Gobert extension. Now, I didn't even realize it had happened until I was a quarter into the game. But he's taking less money. He's declined his player option next year to take less money over 3 years. Obviously, he's still making a lot of money, but I think it's $36 million a year or something. It's like 110 over 3 years or something like that, which helps us flexibility wise, and it's going to give us a little bit of room. But what purpose will we need flexibility? Kevin Durant. That could happen. Yeah. He also reconstructed his contract this year too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you following other things that are happening in the NBA.
Sort of. That's all.
Bronny's changed you.
Yeah. Oh man. Why though?
Why though?
I don't know. I think it does make a little bit of sense because otherwise we were going to have a lot of players next season that were on player options that could just leave and we would have no continuity and just a totally different team. It would be weird, but yeah. Well,
Timberwolves lose. It's okay.
Timberwolves do lose. It is okay.
And it's like going to be a new way of watching this team because last season was quite a high. Shabazz Khan on Twitter, I think that's what his name is.
I think so. Yep.
Mentioned how he misses the last year's team, and I mean, not saying like I do, but I just that high of Game 7 of the Phoenix series, the Denver series, will never be top. I don't think we'll ever be top. That was
no.
my Rushmore of moments, right? There was a couple others, but they're irrelevant compared to what we felt in that high. And can we
And
find that this season?
yeah,
It's going to
yeah,
be it's with a new unit, it's a new team, new identity, and we're going to chase that high, I think. And so, yeah, we're going to underperform at times, and then that is going to create maybe big swells in the opposite direction. So then we're going to find our calling, like maybe when our backs against the wall, you know. So I'm very excited to see what's to come, because also I know I think I can trust in Ant in the fact that, like, he's not going to let that happen to our team. Like,
yeah.
we are probably just walking into a 45 win season just because of like raw talent alone. And maybe we overachieved a bit last year, especially when Cat went out. I think we were very, very much in the overachieving category. But like, that was great. Maybe that was all we needed to know to see that maybe with more of a focus on offense, we can still procure similar results. Maybe that was the reason, the catalyst for the trade, to get
Mhm.
more shooting. We struggled mightily in shooting percentage.
Yeah.
Was fine, but attempts were low, despite being, despite having Cat, despite having some of the 3-point threats we did. Now we bolstered
Yeah.
that with DiVincenzo, and
Yeah.
we lacked play calling or playmaking and transition, and we bolstered that with speed, with youth, with Randall and DiVincenzo being playmakers as well as shot takers, right? So it's going to be a season of like learning, and we have to be ready for watching that and understanding that it might just not be the same results as last year. And Cameron, I mean, I'm ready for it. I'm actually kind of super excited in a way that I
Yeah.
wasn't like super ready to be. Right?
I am excited. I think I'm calmly excited because I think that the past few seasons we've been hanging on to every loss and every win as if it was like
Dude.
the end of the world.
Yeah.
um, and I'm not going to treat this season as that. Obviously, unless we go on some like crazy losing streak or start losing to a bunch of bad teams or in the same way a bunch of times. Because I do think we're a good team, and I do think it's going to take a little bit of time, and that may involve having a losing record to start the season. But it is a long season. We know it's a long season because we started amazing last year and started to teeter a little bit in February and March, but still maintained. But it took a lot of effort to do so. So it's going to take time, and I think that the players are going to be a little bit more smart about how they expend their energy, because I do think that they expended a lot of energy after we went 15-4 to start the season last year. And then they're kind of like, oh yeah, wait, we still have 75% of the season left. And on top of that, even though we didn't really win anything last year, we won like 2 playoff series. We are now going from the hunters to the hunted in a ways, because
Ooh, I like that.
people noticed that game 7 against Denver. And after that, after the game 2 of Denver, everyone was just declaring that the Timberwolves were going to win the finals. So like everyone was in the mindset of like, okay, we're going to like the Timberwolves are a team that we need to take seriously now. So now you're taken seriously every single night. It's going to be a learning curve, and you're going to have to figure out a way through it with a different team. And the thing that people might not want to hear that I've just accepted is that I do think that this year maybe isn't the knockout punch that you're hoping for, where we go for like the finals and like do that. I'm not saying it's impossible. We have a talented roster and things could go right and that could happen. But a lot of the times what happens is you hit with a punch. If it works, you make it to the finals or win or something like that. Fantastic. But then usually the next year's a little bit of a regression to build back for the next year. And I think that Cat trade was Tim Connolly sending out the signal saying, hey, obviously we're going to try this year. I mean, we got Dante DiVincenzo, we've got Randall, we've got all these players that can take us far. Maybe it's not the same guarantee as running it back, but it gives you flexibility for the next year and the next year and the next year. So, yeah, I'm not telling people to give up on the first game of the season. I think we're still going to be a very competitive team. I think we're still going to be close to our win-loss totals projected by Vegas or whatever, like 52 or something. And we're going to be somewhere in like the 45 to 55 range. But yeah, we'll see. This team is better as underdogs. Bring that mentality back. Hopefully this serves as a slap in the face. KGTV21 says.
I couldn't agree more with
YouTube.
that, actually.
Comment of the night? No.
Maybe.
Perhaps. Well, I think that might be it for us tonight. Unless you have anything else to say.
We have about 56 more minutes worth of content.
56. We got to get to 2-hour mark, everybody. Before you leave today, everybody, make sure you like the stream. And if I really could, I'm pleading, please go to podcasts and go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, give us 5 stars or whatever the ranking systems are, and subscribe or download, or I don't know what's important on podcasts. Just do whatever everybody else tells you that you listen to. I want to be the first thing that shows up when people search Wolves. That's not going to happen. But we gotta give Dane Moore some competition. There's not enough competition.
Not enough competition.
But anyways,
you want to be the gas station across the street from a gas station.
There we go. Yes, exactly.
Like, there's a Taco Bell across the street, but we're like little taco Pepe's.
Yeah, we're Del Taco or who knows? I don't know. We're Cafe Rio. Shout out Washington. I love Cafe Rio. But anyways, I think that's it for us tonight. I think I am free on Thursday. Side note, we aren't going to be live every single game after the season this year. We're still going to try as much as we can, but we both have crazy schedules going on. And I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I will certainly do my best to try to be here every single night, but I cannot promise that. So we'll try to keep you updated in the Discord. Shout out the Discord. Yeah, man, I'm off night for a bunch of folks and only lost by 7. I like that. And we did come back. That was a good comeback. So like the stream if you haven't already. We're almost at 50 likes.
Crap. Is that true?
Thursday. Oh, it is Thursday night Vikings Rams.
Oh my gosh.
But that's before the Timberwolves, because the Timberwolves so that game happens at like 7:15 Central Time. And then the Timberwolves game starts at 9 Central Time. So sports really like crazy in Minnesota on Thursday.
Dude, how about that game 5 against the Liberty? That was exciting. That was super awesome. I was super sad that they lost that way. But that was a good fight. That was a very good fight. So. Yeah. The 5-step travel into a phantom foul
that
fall.
Was such BS. Such BS. And then the WNBA commissioner wearing a New York City skyline. That's like, and then they tweeted out where the title should be. Anyways, lots of weird stuff. That's for Links After Dark. Go subscribe.
Glad.
52 wins. Still possible. Sorry, I'm rusty.
What are you talking about?
52 wins is still possible. Very possible.
New
intro as the outro. If you missed it, this is your chance to watch it.
And if you're from Apple, Spotify, or whatever podcast, you got to just listen to it.
And you're probably not going to hear this on Spotify because it might get us DMCA'd. So come over to YouTube. It was great to see you all. Good to chat with all again. Yes, we'll see you back here next time. Have a good night, everybody, and go Wolves or something.
Go Wolves. Thanks for tuning in. 52 wins, still in play.
Here we go.
Yo, trying to hit this. I guess I could take one.
I believe that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win the world championship.
They are advancing to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years.
Oh, it's on, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, baby.